clearance and crofting. Crofting agriculture is a response, a very definite response, in part at least, to the clearances themselves. It evolves as a small-scale agriculture with a part arable and then also with a share of the large common grazing. Interestingly, the croft evolves as only a part-time way of life. People had to subsist on other forms of employment. In most areas, in many areas, these other forms of employment would have been fishing or cowping. But in this area in particular, people were moved into the crofting agriculture to make way for large-scale farms upon which they worked as farm labourers. The clearances were intrinsically part of this, but also at the same time they were to make room for sheep and deer much further inland in many areas. And by the time you get to the 1850s and 60s, what you find is very large-scale forced emigration out of the Highlands, sometimes to the southern cities, but most often to the New World.
The parish of Rogart has 67,000 acres. By the late 19th century, 55,000 of those were rented by 15 farmers. 12,000 of them were rented by 200 crofters. This was the effect of the displacement of population during the clearances. The shift in population patterns had two effects. First of all, there was a reduction in population. In the mid-19th century, the parish of Rogart decreased its population from 2,300 people to approximately 1,300 people, and many of those people did emigrate overseas. The other impact was that the population was redistributed. Instead of being in the better arable ground down by Strathfleet, they were given crofts in higher, much more marginal land in places like this. During the eviction years, 3 sheep farms were created in Rogart, displacing 140 families. Most of these families resettled in pre-existing townships, places like Meikle Rogart, Little Rogart and Knockarthur, rather than emigrating. The problem was that this caused population congestion in these places. Some people took up leases on land which had formerly been rough pasture. They were expected to turn this into good quality arable. But after the evictions, some people were deeply traumatised. John Mackay said to the Commission, "They were so stunned and disheartened by the terror created by the evictions that very little reclamation of this land or any other improvement was effected." However, reclaiming land had consequences. There was less pasture for the livestock. They were charged higher rents because the land was being improved. And as the generations multiplied, there was less land for more people. The Napier Commission of 1882 held out great hope to the people. The people of Rogart told the commissioners that they had sad recollections and woeful tales to tell of evictions and burnings and other harsh proceedings. But hitherto they have submitted, quietly and submissively, to much suffering, and they now hope that brighter days may shine upon them.